Hello guys. So today I'm going to be doing a review on the game Rogueblox, of course, from Roblox. And yeah, this is my first time doing reviews, so do be lenient, I guess, because I've watched a couple, but I have never done that myself. So I'm going to start off with what I'm going to be ranking first. I'm going to be ranking in this order, of course. I'm going to be ranking the map design, the exploration, the music, the PvP, the PvE, and of course the progression. Now, if you're going to be asking why I separated progression from the two methods of progressing, I mainly separated them because I want to talk about the actual combat in general. So it's mainly going to be the combat, for the PvP and the PvE perspectives. And for the progressions, there's going to be if you talk about both of them together, and it's really just like to separate them. So we're going to have like different points and stuff, but that's really that. For the first one we're going to be talking about, of course, is the map design. Now, the map design is honestly extraordinarily well done. I will be totally honest. I very much enjoyed going throughout the entirety of the map. I didn't really explore everything 100%, but I did go through the jungle, I did go through the forest, the desert, the underground of the desert. I got killed. And I also did explore a little bit of the tundra and also some of the ocean. But from what I actually saw and also the scenery of the entire game, it is honestly beautifully well done. Props to the developers and the map creators who actually worked on the map. I honestly believe that the only rating I can honestly give this is a respectful 9.5 or a 10. It is honestly really well done. I honestly love the map. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. I just love the map. Like, it's so beautiful and good looking. It's it's just spectacular. I can't further stress this. 9.5 out of 10 though. That's now to on the next point, the exploration. Now for the exploration of the game, it is honestly pretty good. I do have some complaints, which specifically would be around the whole climbing aspect, of course, because I generally hated the way climbing was back in Rogue sometimes, because it was honestly just kind of like really annoying to like the way it basically worked. Because the climbing is extremely limited because it's not like you're climbing from like rock to rock. You're just climbing straight up, and it's dependent on how much mana you have. And I always hated that type of mechanic. So that kind of dumbs it down the exploration a bit because the whole climbing mechanics is really just kind of bad in my opinion. I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like it. It's not ass, but I just don't really like it. But apart from the climbing part, I do like that there are some zip lines around, which is interesting a little bit. There's no other like maneuverability though, so it's not like as good as you expect it to be. But I'd say the exploration, basing it off of like what the areas are as well, like specifically the desert. I hate the underground of the desert. The underground of the desert is extremely just annoying to traverse because the moment you step in that cavern, you're being bombarded with mobs. Because the moment you go, and when you go down, it's basically death. Because you're gonna encounter these tall cactus dudes that will basically, you can imagine what a drunk father does to their kid when he gets home. That's basically what's gonna happen to you when you go underground in the cave. That's gonna be that. Now, to give you the rating for this, though, I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. I'm gonna have to give it a seven. A seven. A flat seven is a fair for me because I just don't like how I don't like how the mobs are spawning in the cavern, and when you go through there, it's really bad to me. I don't like it. But overall, the exploration is not like completely terrible. It is pretty like nice to traverse the map, but after a while, of course, it's gonna get stale. But that's usually with almost every game sometimes. But that's gonna be for exploration, 7 out of 10. Now, for the next part, we're gonna talk about the music, or I guess you could say the lack of their own music, because the developers didn't really. I don't believe they bothered to make their own music tracks and just really took them straight from the Terraria soundtrack, because the forest, the jungle, the desert, the cavern, they all have the soundtracks from the Terraria soundtrack. So it's not really unique, or nor did they really make it. Of course, Terraria music is peak, of course, but the developers of this game didn't really make it, so I don't really know if it makes any sense of me actually just giving them a good point for this because they didn't really make the music. Now, I don't know if the non-copyrighted music is theirs or not, because I don't even know if there's any music that isn't from Terraria in the game. I don't believe I heard any of it that's from them. I don't know. So just to be actually safe, I'm mainly gonna give them a 5 out of 10 for this. But that's really just because I don't. I like. I would personally probably give them a 0 if I was angry about it, but because they didn't make any of the music, so they just really took it, so it's not really there, so they really don't really get a point for it. But a 5 out of 10 because the music they chose, I guess, did give me a pleasant experience compared to what I'm about to talk about next. Now, 5 out of 10, by the way. So now talk about the next thing. I'm gonna talk about the PvP and the PvE. To start off with the PvP, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. It is probably, like, the problem with the PvP is how they balance the HP and damage on the supers and base classes. Because I don't believe I fought any ultras. I don't know how the ultras really look. I don't know which is an ultra, which is a super. But from what I've honestly seen, the ultras are extremely overpowered compared to super classes and base classes. Like, the power creep is insane. Because you basically cannot kill an ultra by yourself, it seems. You have to, like, jump them, basically, with a bunch of supers or base classes. Because it was basically impossible. It honestly seemed impossible. But for super versus base class, you're basically on the same level, just that one has better skills. Because I'm going to be entirely honest, I was wailing on a dude for straightly, like, we were fighting for, like, 2-3 minutes. And I couldn't kill this guy. And then I died. So I don't know if he was actually a super in disguise or he was just a base class and a freshie, because he had on the basic clothing you spawn in with. And I don't really understand why he was, I was unable to actually kill him. Maybe it's just a skill issue from my part, but the PvP doesn't really feel good as other games, like stuff like, actually, I'm not going to mention other games because then it's going to seem like I'm being biased, but of course, I'm just going to mention the fact that, stuff like Deep Woken and like actual Rogue Lineage, I guess, because I feel like their combat is honestly just a bit better. Of course, Deep Woken and Rogue Lineage are unbalanced to a degree. Rogue Lineage more than all of these games in general, but the PvP for this game just really feels wonky, and it doesn't really feel that good to me. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, there were some times where moves were just ignoring my. I think a move once ignored my block one time, but it wasn't really happening consistently to me. Other things like combat between players, it just doesn't really feel well that I'm having to waste all my time into getting a super class, and then I'm basically getting my ass beat by a fucking freshie, because we have the same amount of health, and he basically does the same amount of damage as I do apparently, because he's just walking through my moves without even blocking or parrying, and I'm beating his ass, and he just kills me. So I don't know if that guy was hacking or anything. I don't really know, but that's really just mentioning that part of the experience, I guess. But I'm gonna have to give the PvP a 5 out of 10. That's really that though. Now to move on to the PvE, on the other hand, I might honestly I don't know if I'm actually shit at the game or not, but I'm gonna be honest with you, the PvP is gonna have to be a 4 out of 10 or a 3. Because for the PvE, it's extremely annoying when it comes to certain mobs just being like irregularly strong in comparison to you. It's very much like, I'm not gonna say it's on removing the immersion. It's just annoying is the point. Because some of the mobs are just ridiculously strong for no reason. Because why is this cactus able to just delete my health bar? Because like this giant cactus guy, he's just deleting my health bar, like straight up deleting my health bar in like barely 30 seconds. And I'm trying to get away from him, but I really can't. Because like running away from certain mobs like this guy is basically impossible. Because the moment you're within range, you're basically going to die eventually. But for stuff like the ants, they're kind of easy to run away from. It's just a bit difficult. You have to climb up and stuff, but that's really that. Now the flying monsters, I've only encountered one type, and those are extremely annoying. They can basically fly up to you. Like they can actually fly up to you. So running away is impossible because they're faster as well, I believe. Because I couldn't run away from them. But of course, fighting some of these monsters is extremely. It's kind of like because it's like there's a lot of clutter is a problem. Like there's too many monsters all at once in the same area sometimes, and it's kind of annoying. Like when you have to fight off like 3 different mobs, like 3 different like bandits and shit, it's kind of annoying because sometimes they jump in and attack you. or they just like stand still and do nothing and watch you as you 1v1 the other guy. But then the other guy is also hitting you with moves in the middle of your M1s. Like you M1 combo him, he hits you with a move basically. And that happens sometimes, not all the time, but it happens sometimes, and it's honestly very annoying. But for that's really all I'm gonna talk about for the PVE. I'm gonna give the PVE a honest like a 3.5 if I'm going to be genuine. Honestly, not a 3.5, a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. That's honestly the fairest I can give for this because I just did not enjoy the PVE sometimes. It was really, really like annoying to do, and that part just kind of pissed me off a lot. So I'm not really gonna be. I'm not really gonna. I can't really rate it that good for me because it wasn't really that good, and that's really that for that. But now talk about the last part of the rating for today's review, is the progression. And I'm going to be straight up as much as I can. I hated the progression. It was the most painful thing I've ever done in my entire life. And that's saying something when I played Rogue. Because Rogue was annoyingly to progress because of the players basically molesting me left and right. Because I would get killed for any small thing. Like I step into ores, now I'm basically getting dropped like a kamikaze bomb by the fucking by the fucking ultra spy. I walk into I forgot what it's called. It's like the golden place. It looks like made out of like sandstone and clay. But it's like the place before the desert in Rogue. But whenever I would walk in there, there'd be like a 20% chance of me getting assaulted by either an Ashen Freshie, an Akuma that's just like bored as hell, a Sigil Knight, a Shinobi. Actually, Shinobi doesn't really count. But, because Shinobi technically, a Shinobi would appear like the fucking boogeyman whenever you found him. Like, whenever you're walking, randomly chilling in Rogue, he would just pull up like the boogeyman. But for this game, the problem with this progression is the fact that it's extremely boring and tedious. Like, I spent like 3 hours trying to progress, and I barely got anything done. Because for most of the time, you're just trying to find out how to get to any of your, like, trainers. And of course, the base class doesn't count, because you get a tracking thing with that. But for you, like, for example, because I went Executioner, to get to Executioner, you have to literally go through one of the most annoying parts of the game to get through, which is the jungle. I didn't go through the tundra, so I don't know if it's worse. But the jungle is literally, like, so annoyingly to traverse, because you don't really know where anything is, because you can barely see anything, because it's all hidden behind fucking trees and grass. And in the jungle, there's also this, like, Demogorgon grass monster that basically is just instant death. Because if it finds you, it will kill you. And you cannot stop it, because it doesn't care for your consent. It's not going to care for your consent. It will take what it wants. And that's what it does. Because I remember seeing my friend streaming this to me while we were like trying to help him go through the jungle. And he got caught by this thing and had to hide in a building to kill it. And when he got out of the building, he got basically like caught lacking as he walked into the open field. It appeared behind him and screamed like, "Roar, roar," and then it fucking killed him. He couldn't even run away from it because it stun locks you into a 4-hit combo that does half your health. Actually, it does more than half your health. It takes you down to 30% basically. And mind you, he was a maxed out like base class, and the health difference between a base class and a super is not even that much. So you're gonna get violated regardless. And according to the people I've actually spoken to about the game, the power creep is only really player versus player. Because a ultra is always going to just beat the brakes off of a super class and a base class, basically much. But against these monsters, like the giant tree dude, the Demogorgon plant guy, like Plantera with legs and arms, and of a thirst for vengeance and the souls of like children. Because apparently, according to the guy, as an ultra, you're still gonna get violated. You can't really do much against these guys. Some of these can just stun lock you into full like Naruto Storm 4 ultra combos with no animations. Fucking just hitting you down, picking you up, closing its mouth against you, slamming you back on the floor, and now your legs are broken and your spine is shattered. You can't really do much. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I saw what happened to him. I can't fight that either. Even as a super, I'm gonna get violated. Like, and the tree guy, he does a lot of damage and is kind of annoying to parry as well. But I don't know why I talked about PvE during the progression part. I'm really just bringing up stuff that kind of ruined the progression for me. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the progression is going to get a 2.5 out of 10, and that's it. Thank you for watching. That's the end of the review, guys. Now the overall, I'm gonna just put it on the screen right now. I guess I don't know how I got it. I'm just gonna. I might. Overall, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I've never done this before. It's my first time doing this. I'll give the review for the game. I guess like the overall. I guess I'll just give it like a 6 out of 10. I think. I think that's what this would count as. A 6 out of 10. The map design honestly carries the game, and also because people were calling it Rogue Lineage 2, I guess. Which, it's not. Rogue is obviously better. I honestly like Rogue a lot more. Even though all of my memories from Rogue Lineage are not good memories. Like, my memories from Rogue are literally like PTSD memories. Like wartime veteran type bullshit. And that might be disingenuous to wartime veterans. So sorry if I offended you, I guess. But that's gonna be it for this day's review. I just repeated my outro. I'm sorry. I'm not padding off for time because I'm not monetized, guys. Calm down. But that's gonna be all for today's review. 6 out of 10 overall. I'm gonna be on screen, I guess. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you disagree or agree. I would love to talk to you guys in the comments, and I will see you guys later.